On the 6th day of Venom on the shelf, Rob gave to me Hermione still illegal, ear-raping trauma, time-travelling Santa, disgracing a classic, more neglectful parents, and a gruesome Jason murdering spree. Hello and welcome to the 3rd annual Venom on the Shelf, celebrating the 12 days of Christmas. Well, on this day last year, we took a look at the introduction to the Harry Potter film franchise. Time to look at the sequel.
Excellent.
Production of the second film actually began just days after the release of the original. Harry and his buddies return to the world of Hogwarts, but their fellow classmates begin to end up being petrified by an unknown force. Strange messages are left behind from the heir of Slytherin, leading to much discussion of who the evil culprit could be, as we discover a monster is located somewhere inside the school, and like always, it's up to the 3 minors to save the day and not all of the grown-ass adults.
I definitely need to remember that one.
Chris Columbus returned to direct, but allegedly Frank Oz was actually asked first, but he turned down the job as he had no interest in the franchise. Arsehole.
Leave him alone.
Despite being the second shortest book, this came out as the longest movie of the entire franchise, based on Daniel Radcliffe's own personal favourite of all the novels. But there was a significant change from the first film, as it was going in a more dark direction, a sign of things to come. It was both financially successful as well as a hit with fans and critics, considering it a worthy follow-up and decent book adaptation. However, the movie changed a lot from the book, which is weird. Considering that the book wasn't that long and the movie is, it's bizarre that they actually cut things out that led to a whole lot of plot holes.
I can't let you out, Hedwig. I'm not allowed to use magic outside of school.
Surely just the magic owl being there is already using magic. Also, there's a key right there! You can let him out anytime you want, you asshole! But why have they let Harry go back home to his abusive family anyway? This is explained in the books, but it's never explained in the movies, so therefore it's a plot hole and I can bitch about it.
No, sir.
And why does he suddenly have a room now? What, they hate him but for some reason decided to upgrade the little shit from the cupboard under the stairs?
Dobby, Dobby, please stop!
Oh, don't mind that. That's just my nephew having a wank.
There is a plot.
Oh, we've got a plot this year, have we?
A plot to make most terrible things happen.
What terrible things? Who's plotting them?
Is it an actor? Okay, sorry. Daniel Radcliffe has actually improved since the first film, and there are parts where he's really good in this. There are also still really bad reads like that. But why did Dobby even bring the letters that he kept from Harry? What, to rub his face in it? Dobby's a bit of a dick. I mean, he literally shows up, ruins Harry's life, and then runs away. He's like the Cheshire Cat, little asshole. By the way, fun fact, Dobby's entire look was actually based on the face of Vladimir Putin.
Do you have any idea how serious this is?
And why do they never use the car's invisibility? We find out later that it has it, and somehow nobody notices this loud-ass flying car ripping bars off a sodding window. Although in the book, Fred and George actually sneak into Harry's house, and it's really like even more dragged out as they go around to get Harry's stuff, or like not waking up the Dursleys, which is even more ridiculous. So I'm glad they cut that out. That's a plus.
Hiya, Harry. Ron. Fred. George.
Thanks for that, Harry.
I think it's brilliant.
And despite already having seen and met Harry, Ginny still lets her ovaries implode when she sees him again.
Mummy, have you seen my jumper?
Yes, dear, it was on the cat. Hello.
Just a few more years, Harry.
They were starving him, Mum. There were bars in his window.
How did Ron know that they were starving him? I mean, he could have told them in the car ride, but they showed up to his house to rescue him. How would they know that he needed that?
Your sons flew that enchanted car of yours to Surrey and back last night.
Did you really? How'd it go? I mean, that was very wrong indeed, boys.
Who cares? Mr. Weasley is hilarious.
And don't forget to speak very, very clearly.
Diagonally.
I honestly have no idea how Harry mispronounces it as Diagonelli. I mean, it's funny, but it just doesn't make any sense. Oh look, underage wizards and witches aren't allowed to use magic outside of school, but here's Hermione using magic outside of school. In the book, it's Mr. Weasley who does the spell to fix his glasses. They deliberately went against the book to intentionally create a plot hole. Clever.
Oh dear, we are in trouble.
There's also a new teacher called Gilderoy Lockhart, who's pretty much the most overdone, pompous, arrogant cliche you would have ever seen. He pretends he's this genius badass, but he doesn't know anything he's talked about. You've seen it a million times before.
Bet you loved that, didn't you, Potter? Famous Harry Potter. Can't even go to a bookshop without making the front page.
Leave him alone.
He's my piece of ass! We also meet Malfoy's dad, Lucius, who is so badass. Together, they actually are really great villains and command so much dark atmosphere whenever they appear, which the musical score really helps as well. And of course, the parents never go through the platform with the kids, but on this one occasion they do. And don't say it's because it's Ginny's first year at Hogwarts, because last year was Ron's. They didn't go with him then. And once blocked from the barrier, they used the car, still not turning it invisible until the last minute for some reason. But how are they even able to follow the train? Where exactly does the magic platform come out of? But Rupert Grint's facial acting is hilarious when they realise they're in front of the train. But are you telling me that not a single person on board the train can see this? I mean, none of them admit to it later, so I'm assuming they're all blind, drunk, and passed out or something. Then Harry falls out the car. Well, you should have been wearing your seatbelt then, you dumbass. Safety first. But once arriving, the car even kicks them out and leaves. Why is it such a dick to them all of a sudden? I just love how Harry and Ron are in so much trouble for risking the discovery of the wizarding world, but in part 1, Dumbledore, McGonagall and Hagrid all had absolutely no issue whatsoever clearly parading around Privet Drive with their magic abilities.
Professor Dumbledore. Professor McGonagall.
Thanks for that, Harry. We have eyes, you know.
Mandrake, or Mandragora, is used to return those who've been petrified to their original state.
Oh, what are the odds? We're going to need that exact stuff later on in the film. There's also this annoying new character. Some photographer Potter fanboy just keeps harassing him. He's entirely pointless and just does my head in. And after a while, Lockhart does as well. The actor does a great job, but it's just the same scene and the same joke over and over. He's arrogant and thinks he's God's gift. We get it! Fun fact, Alan Cumming was actually supposed to play Lockhart. But then he found out that Rupert Grint was getting paid more than him and he backed out, refusing to allow a 12-year-old to have a higher salary than him. Arsehole.
I am absolutely disgusted!
But how strong are these pixies? Jesus, able to lift Neville's ass in the air like this? And how did Lockhart even get this job to begin with? It's his first day and he's already endangered the lives of all of his students. Didn't they do any background checks? Or was it literally, oh, you wrote a book with no actual evidence that you did these things? You're hired.
Where do you think you're going, Flint? Quidditch practice. I booked the pitch for Gryffindor today. Easy, Wood. I've got a note.
And an acting coach. There are cute and subtle moments where Ron tries to stick up for Hermione, a sign of things to come. In fact, there's also a scene where she was supposed to hug both boys, but Emma Watson was really embarrassed to do so in front of the entire cast, so she hugged Daniel and not Rupert, which actually worked, again to foreshadow their future relationship. Genius, Watson. Genius.
Argus, everyone will proceed to their dormitories immediately. Everyone except you three.
Why? You don't know that they were the ones who discovered it. Also, it kills me that this is the last time we'll see Rich Harris's Dumbledore, because he truly was the superior Albus in my opinion. But McGonagall literally teaches them to turn animals into water goblets. Nice to know even the wizarding school teaches completely irrelevant stuff to its students.
Taught how to kill Tom, but I can remember levitating with wands. I was never taught the Horcruxes, but I know loads about your lunches. I was never taught Patronus, the Odors, time for showing us all of their Quidditch boners. I wasn't taught any spell to take care of myself, but I can turn a fucking muggle cup into an elf.
Ferraverto.
Ferraverto.
So technically, why do they even need to teach magic? Apparently all it is waving a wand and saying a word. Can't you just read that in a book? And McGonagall literally gets asked about the Chamber of Secrets and instantly opens up and confesses everything in a heartbeat.
Naturally, the school has been searched many times. No such chamber has been found.
There's no spell to locate it? I mean, there's a magic spell for everything else. Who cares? One thing I'm always blown away by is just how spectacular all the Quidditch stuff looks. It's gorgeous. Why do movies have such terrible insults? Scarhead, cheek face. And of course, another student gets brought in petrified and the teachers openly spew exposition around a nearby student. Why wouldn't they?
Professor Dumbledore has granted me permission to start this little dueling club, to train you all up, in case you ever need to defend yourselves.
Nah, just give him guns, mate. But considering we later find out that Snape's duty this whole time is to protect Harry, why does he specifically recommend Malfoy to take him on, knowing how much he hates the boy?
You can talk to snakes.
I know. I mean, I accidentally set a python on my cousin Dudley at the zoo once.
It was a cobra. But even nearly headless Nick gets petrified. How the hell do you petrify a ghost? Oh, and all of the circumstances for all these people being petrified and not killed, the coincidences are ridiculous. We later find out that there's a giant basilisk hiding inside the castle, petrifying people. If you look directly at it, you die, whereas literally all of these victims didn't do that. They saw it through reflections, cameras, mirrors, ghosts. This is such a contrived and forced way to avoid having anyone killed. Why not have someone be murdered? Why not go the darker route? What's wrong with that? Why not the photographer guy? He brings nothing to the table.
Exactly.
But there is a cool moment where Harry begins to think, since he's now discovered that he can talk to snakes, that he's the heir of Slytherin and questions the Sorting Hat for putting him in Gryffindor. It's a short exchange, but very well done. Oh look, it's Christmas, see? It counts! There's a running gag of Ron breaking his wands during the car accident earlier, so throughout the film his spells constantly go wrong, but why the hell does nobody replace it? He's a danger to himself and everyone around him. And why do Crabbe and Goyle not question floating cupcakes?
How thick could you get?
That's what I'm saying. Alright, it was pretty funny. Although, this is genius. Harry accidentally leaves his glasses on, and Tom Felton, who played Malfoy, genuinely forgot his line, so this response was made up on the spot.
Why are you wearing glasses?
Reading.
Reading? I didn't know you could read.
That's brilliant. Also, in the book, the Polyjuice potion gives them the correct voices as well, whereas here they keep their own. I guess it adds more comedy and tension as they have to hide their identity, so it's not a real big issue. But Jesus Christ, Hermione as a cat is terrifying! She's combined her genes with the damn Beauty and the Beast! Except that one wasn't scary, it was funny. Shut up!
Bloody hell.
I will admit, I had issues at the start with Radcliffe's performance, but as the film goes along, he does get a whole lot better. And as he writes to Tom Riddle's diary, it is really creepy and eerie. Although Malfoy's dad claims he was there when the chamber was opened 50 years ago, and so was Hagrid as we see in a flashback. How old are these people? Because neither of them look like the age they're supposed to be. And this isn't what young Dumbledore looks like, he's meant to be Jude Law. There is a really cool moment here. So earlier, Dumbledore admits that he doesn't believe that Harry is guilty of the attacks, and then he says,
"Is there something you wish to tell me?"
No, sir.
I always wondered, what's that supposed to mean? What's he implying here? It just seemed really confusing. It seemed like a throwaway line. But during this flashback to Tom Riddle, the same thing happens.
Is there something you wish to tell me?
No, sir. Nothing.
Dumbledore feared that Harry now had the power to become the next Voldemort. It's really subtle, but it's very well done and very effective. But why the hell does Hagrid look like Andre the Giant? And the film does an amazing job at throwing in as many suspects as possible. Is it Harry? Is it Malfoy? Hagrid even becomes a suspect. It constantly keeps you guessing.
All students will be escorted to each lesson by a teacher.
But that's impossible. Have you seen how many students there are compared to teachers?
You will find that help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it.
I see you, Harry. Nice ass. And Hagrid is just hilarious how he makes it so obvious that they're there.
Wait, spiders? Why couldn't it follow the butterflies?
I love Ron. And by the way, Rupert Grint had a real-life phobia of spiders, so this wasn't acting. He genuinely was terrified. But why the hell does Hagrid tell the kids to follow the spiders only to nearly get themselves killed? But only now does the car suddenly want to stop being a dick and help. And despite the car clearly being alive and having a mind of its own, Ron now has to operate it for some reason.
I mean, what was the point of sending us in there?
I have no idea.
We know one thing. Hagrid never opened the Chamber of Secrets.
Wait, a note was in this kid's hand and nobody noticed it beforehand. Yeah, beforehand. We find out that Tom Riddle was controlling Ginny to do its evil bidding and control the basilisk, but this makes no sense. Harry's a parcel mouth and even he can't control it, so why would she be able to? But furthermore, Ginny is clearly here reacting to Harry talking parcel tongue. But in the very next scene, Harry hears the snake. How is this possible? Wouldn't Ginny need to be near the chamber controlling the basilisk?
There was nothing in the job description about
You're running away? After all that stuff you did in your books?
Books can be misleading.
Not when they cover up your plot holes. Harry and Ron basically kidnap Lockhart. There's no two ways about it. They kidnap Lockhart.
Whatever shed this must be 60 feet long. Oh no. Heart of a lion, this one.
Who cares? That was funny. Then he loses his memory, and admittedly it is hilarious. But if Tom is just a memory, how exactly can he hold a wand? And how did the Phoenix get inside the chamber when it collapsed and became barricaded with rocks?
Yes, Potter. The process is nearly complete. In a few minutes, Ginny Weasley will be dead.
But then who will I randomly and inexplicably fall in love with for no reason? Oh well, I must admit, Harry is a really clever hero and him killing the basilisk is pretty badass. Unlike the first film, this one actually gives us a reason to root for him as the main character. But Voldemort has now been killed twice, 2 years running by a child. You should just give it up. Harry even manages to help Dobby trick Lucius Malfoy to becoming free. Would this even work? Lucius didn't give him clothing. Harry tricked his ass. This loophole sounds stupid. And the film's ending does drag quite a lot. They have to wrap up so much and it just never seems to end.
Let us hope that Mr. Potter will always be around to save the day.
Don't worry. I will be.
That's kind of badass, I won't lie. I mean, this kid is standing up to Lucius Malfoy. He just doesn't give a shit.
Anything, sir.
Never try to save my life again.
Oh, just end!
There's no Hogwarts without you, Hagrid.
I hate this ending so much. Why are they clapping? Hagrid walked into a room. Why are they clapping? What, because he's back from Azkaban? I completely forgot he was even in Azkaban. This is stupid. Stop fucking clapping! This may be unpopular, but I actually think this is better than the first one. Okay, there's a lot of plot inconsistencies and you have to suspend your disbelief a lot for the plot holes caused by book to film adaptation. A lot of convenient plot points that don't add up, but the story itself is really engaging. You get more time to bond with Harry and feel his character's issues as he considers if he's possibly evil after all. It's darker than the first one, but in my opinion not dark enough. It's just a great sign of things to come. And that was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Join me tomorrow where one of my heroes gets completely crapped on.